Hey everybody, welcome back to Arkham card game Draft and Die, where many of our investigators will not be making it out alive. My name is M. We are playing another round of Arkham and having ourselves an absolutely delightful time. I can see I got some sunlight shining through like a random window crack or something like that. That's fine. Regardless, hi, hello everyone. So tonight we're playing Night of the Zealot not Night of the Zealot. We are playing Return to the Night of the Zealot and the Devour Below for the first time on this first run of Draft and Die. We have our Roland and Harvey decks. Harvey and Roland successfully defeated the Ghoul Priest, which was a big exchange that I was very, very happy with, and then they just completely biffed the Midnight Masks. We left 4 cultists alive. It's going to be a real adventure trying to make sure that that doesn't kill us, but I think I have a couple of possible ways that we can actually get around it. So we're going to do our best to actually get that to work. We really need to draw and hold on to the upgraded barricade, I think, if we're going to really survive this campaign. But our central goal will be to defeat Umordoth, which if we can manage that, that will be really, really good. And if we can't defeat Umordoth, it's possible that we might be able to throw some hapless folks to their demise and maybe get out of this alive anyways. Not really sure. It's going to be an interesting run. I'm really, really hoping to actually make it through this one. It would be really cool to actually survive with all 10 investigators and make this look like it's a lot easier than it is. But as I know from the previous 2 10 investigator wipes, that is not the case. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it. We got to flip this to hard. So let's take a quick look at what's going on in the token deck. -3s for skulls. If you fail, you get to search for a monster. So -3 should be our baseline for any test. We never want to fail at a -3 because that would cause us to draw a monster, which would be not good unless we're for some reason like playing like, I don't know, Roland Banks, which we are, it turns out. -4 places 2 doom on the nearest enemy, so got to be really, really careful around, and -4 whenever enemies are around. -5 takes damage and horror, so that just happens. There's nothing we can do about that. And -7, if there's an ancient one in play, we reveal another token, basically means there's a second auto fail in the deck that can be pretty devastating. Not really anything we can do about the -7. It's just a thing. We do add the Elder Thing token to the Chaos bag. I've already done all of the setup for this, which means shuffling 4 of the 10 random Arkham Woods locations, setting up the Cultist bag, adding the agents of whatever it is that I just added. I picked it at random from the agents of the Ancient One bag, and I haven't looked in the bag to find out what else is going on. So there's some like extra elite along with a couple of his Harbingers. Beyond that, we've got everything else that we need, and there's this Return to the Devour Below card, which, spoiler alerts, will flip over and attach to Umordoth based on how much progress that we have. So we won't be looking at that to see the exact rules, but I remember pretty well because I've seen a 7-fight Umordoth destroy our butts quite a few times. All right. So let's get into the intro and talk a little bit about what's going on. Is that the... Yeah, okay. After a frantic nighttime search throughout Arkham, you have tracked down and questioned several members of the cult. Your findings are disturbing. They claim to worship a being known as Umordoth, a monstrous entity from another realm. You're able to confirm much of Lita's story. The cult is agitated over the destruction of a ghoul lair. However, a surprising detail also turns up. The one who invaded the lair and set this night's events in motion was none other than Lita Chandler herself. You're not sure why this important detail was omitted from Lita's story. Did she tell you only as much as was necessary to draw you into her conflict? But in another light, she seems to be fighting to protect the city of Arkham from a terrible menace. The final piece of the puzzle was found written in a journal possessed by one of the cultists. It describes a dark ritual to be performed deep in the woods south of Arkham, this very night. According to the journal, the ritual's completion will open a gate and bring forth the cult's dark master into this world. If the cult is not stopped, Lita warns, there is a possibility that Umordoth's vengeance will consume all in its path. Frightened but determined to stop the ritual, you head into the woods. Agenda 1A. From interrogating members of the conspiracy within Arkham, you have learned that they are performing a rite of vengeance in response to the destruction of one of their master's lairs. You've entered the woods outside of Arkham to try and stop them. The woods seem unnaturally cold and filled with a deathly silence. So because we let some cultists get away, we already start with 2 doom on this agenda. At 4, it will advance. Investigating the trail, the evidence you've gathered has led you to the woods south of Arkham, where you believe a ritual to summon a being called Umordoth is about to take place. Stealing your resolve, you set forth deeper into the woods, hoping to find the site of this ritual. So we need 6 clues. I believe if we get the first 6 clues, the next thing that happens is we'll find the ritual site, and then we'll have to get to the ritual site. So 6 clues and a barricade is sort of the goal here. All right, I think that's everything. We're trying to do things before things get too crazy. Starting with Harvey's deck. Let's double check that he's got Lead a Chantler in here, because that's always just a thing. Okay, yeah, just make sure. All right, and then draw 5 cards. I believe we've got the upgraded setups and everything. Oh, true, the barricade. All right. We also got a deduction, which is an incredibly strong option, and a working the hunch, which is an incredibly strong option. Mind Over Matter is great. I really like it, but I think I'm actually more interested in find some like assets for Harvey at this point. So let's draw 2 more cards. I can't draw Psychosis, so we just pick up that. Perception and Burning the Midnight Oil. Seems great. All right, and switching over to Roland Banks, picking up 5 cards. What do we got? We got a 45 automatic Beat Cop. Beat Cop gives us fight, so it's definitely a pretty reasonable option. I do think Greet Wagner's way better, and it would be kind of nice to get Greet Wagner instead of that. I also think that like since we aren't going to have a lot of resources early, it might be a good idea to ditch the Beat Cop. But I mean, Beat Cop does discard to deal damage to enemies at our location, which after getting fight could be really useful. We have Burning the Midnight Oil. This could be like a really solid just opener as far as things go. I could also like, I can use Get Over here to summon Umordoth to my location, which is very dumb and very fun. I like it a lot. And Roland does not have a high fight value, so we got to be really careful with this, but I think that's got some potential. And also, it's a potential other way to avoid actually doing some of the other things. I think we need to pass will tests here, so I'm going to ditch the Beat Cop and pick up another card. Another clean them out. Okay. So we'll probably be doing some fighting just to gain resources, and we're going to be playing that 45 automatic right quick just so we have some extra goodies. Okay. But we have a gun, which is always a good start. Starting the main path, connected to each other wood's location. There's nothing we can do to stop them if we resign. Something I have not... This is one of the only parts of the game where revealing locations can actually reveal other connected locations. So that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to a couple of times. Main path is connected to all of the squares, which is the Arkham Woods. So we'll keep track of that, and every time we reveal a location, we'll check all of our other locations and make sure we're good. Okay. Mythos Phase is skipped, so we go straight to the Investigator Phase. Let's get digging. First things first. I feel like Roland should lead. Let's start with a 45. Actually, let's start by moving, I think. We'll venture briefly forth into the Arkham Woods. Growing up, you were always wanted to stay out of the woods at night. Now you know why. Arkham Woods. After you reveal a Chaos token from the bag during an evasion attempt, reveal and resolve an additional Chaos token limit once per test. Okay, so this is a 3 investigate. Roland's book is 3, but if we fail, we get a monster, so we got to be really careful about that. Honestly, I might want to do it anyways, because investigating here would be like, you really can't win on zeros, so it makes more sense to pull out the 45 automatic, and then maybe draw a card, since we have a lot of resource gain already. Physical training? Seems great. Seems great. Okay, Harvey Walters then. Our lead investigator? I think Roland's our lead at the moment. No, Harvey's the lead, never mind. Harvey can move here. It's a 3 to move, and it's certainly not a bad place to investigate. If I throw a deduction at that, I can get 5, 6 against 3, plus working a hunch would be 7 against 3. Oh, perception, 7 against 3. That's really all we need, so yeah, okay. So deduction, perception, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 3 means that we can only fail to the -5, and we also get to discover clues. So yeah, we actually don't fail to the -5. We just fail to the autofail. Let's not draw an autofail on our first run, huh? That's a bad one, but it's not a terrible one. We take a damage and a horror if there's a monster, which there isn't. It's a -5, but we do succeed on a -5, so we draw a card, and we pick up an extra clue. And we got Thrice Damn Curiosity early, so that's 1 damage to Harvey, but that also just gets that out of the way. Now we don't have to worry about it for a bit. Grab a clue. Grab a clue. Maybe I should have moved Roland back to the main path. Okay, so Harvey, what are we doing here? I can't barricade up at the moment. I should absolutely have used Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate. There was no reason not to. But, you know, it's fine. We can deal with that later. Drawing a card here would be a good idea, I think. actually really like that. Since we draw a card, we stay in Roland's location, so Roland can shoot things off our back. And yeah, I like it. So draw, Mind Over Matter, and then we draw an extra off Harvey's ability. Occult Invocation. Beautiful. So now we got a good way to fight monsters if monsters should happen to show up. Okay, enemy phase, there's no enemies in play. Upkeep phase, we gain a resource and draw a card. Perception for Harvey, great. Oh, I could have drawn the card off Harvey's perception. Whoops. Gotta remember that Harvey can draw cards on like all sorts of different things. Okay, Preposterous Sketches is cool. I think Physical Training might be more important for Roland this early, especially since it gives him will, but we'll keep that in mind. So we go to the Mythos phase. The Doom goes up to 3, and the encounters are dealt. Starting with our lead. Each investigator discards a card at random from his or her hand. Oh crap. Each investigator has no cards in his or her hand is killed. Heal a damage from each enemy in play. Mask of Yumortoth. Oh no, I didn't realize this was in the setup. Okay, so we have to search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist. Draw it, attach Mask of Yumortoth to it, and shuffle the encounter deck. This is a good time to see exactly what we've got in the deck. Okay, so Disciple, 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 Offer of Power, Acolyte of Yumortoth, which is like the big scary one, but is it unique? It's not unique. Oh, and we got the Yithian Observers. When they attack you, discard cards at random from your hand. If you can't, deals +1 damage and +1 horror for this attack. Good to know. No, I can't just search Cultist, can I? Okay, so looks like our options are Corpse Taker, Acolyte. Is Corpse Taker unique? No. And the last one is Disciple. Disciple takes a Doom. Corpse Taker gets a Doom at the end of the Mythos phase and then moves towards Rivertown or main path. Alright, so I think it's Disciple. Put that in the opposite location. We don't put a Doom on it because that's the first option. Attach the furthest cult to be placed at Doom. If there are no cultists, search the encounter deck for a cultist, draw it, and attach it, but you don't place a Doom. So that's 3 health on a aloof enemy that's also got a Doom on it, which sucks. On the other hand, this card, getting a Doom isn't a problem because we clear the Doom, I think. And it's not a monster, so I can just ignore this guy. Is that correct? Place 2 Doom on the nearest enemy. Okay. So, yeah, it would be bad to continue to keep that guy alive. But we don't have to deal with him immediately, and we can actually ignore him while we investigate, so I think we're in okay shape there. Oh, and don't forget to discard, so group them up, shuffle them up, clean them out, gone. Harvey, I need you to not lose. I'm just going to shuffle here and then do this. Okay, less working a hunch, which sucks, but it's not Barricade, which was the card that I really, really needed to keep. Okay. So, we still have a plan, and we have a Get Over here. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh, it's actually so good. Okay, so... Roland, I think we're actually going to, like... move Roland somewhere, literally anywhere. 1, 2, I think is good. When you move out of this location, test 3 books. If you fail, cancel the effects of that move. That's rough. I don't like that. But, you know, it should be okay. We can stay here and search for clues if we like. We need Roland to eventually be in the main path, is the thing. So that's 1, 2 actions. I think our last action is going to be either to, like, do some fighting or, like... If I get over here, I'm going to be very sad. I could do Preposterous Sketches, but I don't think that's a good idea. We could gain a resource since we're really trying to play, like, a bunch of different things right now. I'd probably be okay with that. Yeah, and I really can't investigate here. I think I'll play the Physical Training. I think we've got enough ways to get resources that we're probably okay otherwise. So, play the Physical Training. 0 cost. Harvey, how do we feel about investigating that area? So 3 investigate right now. Honestly, I think Harvey should be moving first in these scenarios, just to like basically allow us to get the resources that we want and get everything going. But it's interesting. All right, so I kind of want to explore the last Arkham Woods location, even though this one's like a pretty good place for clues. The problem with that is that, oh no, we'd have to just discard some cards that we already have. So yeah, 1, 2. This location is investigating using will instead of the skill indicated by the investigation attempt. That sucks. That's really not great. What's Harvey's will? It's like 3? Oh, Harvey's actually got 4 will, so he's fine with that. Perception's not going to help here. And I can't throw anything else at it except for Mind Over Matter, so... 4 against 2, boy. Alright, yeah, let's do it. 4 against 2. Gain 2 resources, and... do I want to throw the perception at that? That seems not good. No, I think it's just a straight 4 against 2. -3 does not succeed. Unfortunate. Okay, well, that was a pretty low turn, but it happens. Enemy phase, upkeep phase, resource and a card, resource and a card. Higher education is awesome, and we're definitely going to want that, especially since it boosts our will right now. Roland's 38 special is also awesome, and maybe like the most important thing that we need right now. Okay, yeah, so from there we go to the Mythos phase, and we're going to advance the first agenda. Somewhere throughout the woods, a shrieking cry echoes. From somewhere deeper in the forest, a score of hideous voices answer the call, inhuman as the baying of hounds, and yet articulate, repeating a singular name. Umordoth, Umordoth, Umordoth. We must shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until a monster enemy is discarded. We spawn that enemy at the main path, then place a doom on that enemy. Also, we lose the doom from the Disciple of the Devourer, because that is our 4th. And we lose all the doom from this location as well. Okay, that's actually our 5th, but... okay, so discard. Nope, discard. Grave Eater. That's a monster. It's actually a pretty good monster here. And it's got a doom on it, so we need to kill it eventually. Which, you know, sensible. Alright. So, we're in good shape, by and large. What's your fight? 4 against this guy's bonuses? Okay. Interesting. We definitely need the resources, so it's going to be an interesting one overall. I think we start with Harvey, because Harvey's got some things he can do. Not an amazing amount of things he can do. Act 1, higher education. Action 2, draw a card and use your extra ability to draw an additional card. Cool. Action 3, we're going to investigate using will. I'm going to make this a 4, 5, 6 against 2. Or I could just preposterous sketches. No, I think it's right to go 6 against 2 here. So investigate, here we go. 0 succeeds. Pick that up. And that's our 3rd clue on Harvey. We need 6 clues to advance, and that'll find us our ritual site, so... nice and careful. Alright. And if Harvey's got 3... Roland needs to get 2, which is a little tricky, but doable. Alright. Roland, what are we doing? We really want to, like, fight this guy pretty much the solid way. I think what we want to do is gain a resource, get over here, and clean him out. The main issue with that is that we are fighting against 2 a little bit, which is not ideal. Why don't we Burning the Midnight Oil and do a base investigative 3 against 3 to gain 2 resources. I hate that, but I think it's probably the best way to go. -2 does not succeed, but it's also not a bad token for us, so I feel okay about that. Alright, next action, get over here. We're gonna jump the Grave Eater to our location, we're gonna fight it, and I think we're gonna spend 1 additional resource to make sure that it's a 5 against whatever it is. 5 against 2. Yep. 0 succeeds, so we deal 1 damage to it. And for our next trick, we're going to clean him out, gain 2 resources. And this fight's gonna be 4, 5, 6 against 2? Honestly, yeah, I think so. 6 against 2. Elder's Thing is a -7. Bad times. Oh, yeah, that Elder Thing, that does hurt. Okay, that's not great. That's actually pretty bad. Okay, but is what it is. Enemy phase. We get attacked and we have to discard a card at random. Either of these ones is gonna hurt. I think I need to actually group them because otherwise I'm gonna know which one's which. Farewell, Preposterous Sketches. Hello, Roland's 38 special. Man, are we gonna be firing the 45 automatic at this thing? Most likely. Okay, that's enemy phase. Upkeep phase. Resource and a card. Resource and a card. 1-2 punch. Good card if you want to fight a big monster. Arcane Enlightenment. Also a good card if you want to have a lot of cards in hand and a lot of tomes. But we'll see. Mythos Phase. We add the first Doom. This one's at 5. Oh, each enemy gets +1 fight and +1 evade. I totally missed that earlier. We still actually managed to hit the Grave Eater for whatever amount that we were supposed to hit the Grave Eater for. But yeah, that's a little scary. We don't like that. Okay, Harvey. Will test. I think you just spend resources here. 6 against 2. Wait, no, sorry. Mythos, Doom, Encounters. Get that 2 resources back. Dissonant Voices for Harvey. Okay, that's rough, but not the end of the world. Chill from Below for Roland. Test 3 will. For each point you fail by, discard a card at random. We'll spend a resource to get a will here, so that's 4. And can't get any more will than that, so there we go. Skull. That's a -3. And if we fail, we search for a monster. Wow. Bad times, bad times. Okay, so we discard both of these cards. We draw a monster. I think another Grave Eater here, since monsters have like a lot of bonuses at the moment. Both of these guys are engaged with me. The good news is I don't have any weapons, so I can't actually, yeah. Everything's terrible, but here we are. All right, Harvey, you're first up. You can't play events, you can only play skills. So, yeah, we're gonna do that 6 against 3 that we were talking about, unless we really want to go help. No, I think we're okay. 6 against 2. -2 succeeds. Pick up a clue. That is 4 clues. Action 2, Action 3, move to the Arkham Woods. We could potentially do like Action 2, move to the main path. And then as another action, do something else, like draw a card, get another card. Or play Arcane Enlightenment, which, yeah, that'll give us extra hand space, which would be nice. Okay, I like it. Roland, hi. Hi, Roland. Your low fight value is a problem here. Fighting 5 against 3 on this Grave Eater. Skull's a -3, right? Oh god, we draw another monster. Oh, no, not what I wanted to do. I'm just making more of them. Uh, 5 against 3 again? See if you can shoot one? 0 succeeds. Kill that Grave Eater. So that does allow us to pick up a clue off the Arkham Woods, because we've got Roland's ability there. Fired 2 bullets. Last bullet, 5 against 3 on the other Grave Eater that we just drew. -4 does not succeed. Okay, so we're going to take some damage here, and we're going to lose some Oh, I already took a damage from the Grave Eater, too. Okay, enemy phase, 2 damage, discard 2 cards at random from your hand. Roland can die because his hand's empty. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a pretty big problem, actually. But I think it's the best we can do at the moment, so here we are. Alright, upkeep. Oh wait, no, actually we're fine, because we do upkeep before Mythos, so we're okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Magnifying Glass, hooray! And Roland took 2 more damage, yep. Magnifying Glass for Harvey as well. Good times. Okay. Yeah. Well, Harvey can get that last clue, but what we really need to do is help out with the fighting. Mind Over Matter is going to be very good for that, as would Occult Invocation, though I kind of want to save Occult Invocation for other things. Alright, upkeep's done. Mythos Phase. Doom goes to 2. Encounters your dealt. Harvey gets a Disciple spawning at the furthest empty location. And it's Agenda 2, so it steals a clue. I want to go back to the Arkham Woods. Investigating using will instead of the skill indicated by the investigation attempt. Gets a Doom and a clue. That's annoying, because we really need to help Roland, and we don't have as many tools to help Roland now because stuff is happening. Okay, but that's fine, I guess. So that was my card. Was that Roland's card as well? We had Dissonant Voices. Did I play anything? I played Arcane Enlightenment, which I shouldn't have done. Instead, I should have drawn a card or gained a resource. We'll gain a resource. Discard Dissonant Voices. Alright. Dissonant Voices on Roland. That's fine. Roland doesn't have any events to play anyways. I guess we have a Magnifying Glass. Those are helpful. Okay, so Harvey really needs to help with these Grave Eaters, I think. But I think Roland needs to take his shots first, because there's a chance that Roland gets the clues that we need and just gets everything done. So yeah, Roland 5 against 3. -1 will make it 6 against 3. -2 succeeds, discard a Grave Eater, get a clue. Bye, friend. Okay, so pick up that last clue. Action 2, I think we move. Action 2, I think we attack. 4 against 3. There's a chance we draw another monster if we do that wrong, though. But I don't see anything else that's going to be useful here. Yeah, we'll just do 4 against 3. Oh my god, it worked! Grave Eater's dead. That was a risk well worth taking. And then our last action, we'll walk over to the main path, because we need to be there. Okay, so it's just Harvey then. We have an extra Doom on this guy, and also a clue on his location, which I completely forgot to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... I guess I took the clue and then turned it into a Doom or something. Alright. So this guy's pretty important to kill if we can do it. Which is certainly possible. Mind Over Matter would allow us to engage and fight him. He doesn't have anything crazy going on, so... Harvey's first action, Mind Over Matter, which is actually a fast action. Seeker tokens. Draw a card. Draw an additional card off of Arcane Enlightenment. Cool. Lead of Chantler's beautiful. We definitely need that. Let's play Magnifying Glass fast, because that'll keep us at 8 cards in hand. Action 1. Move to the Arkham Woods. This thing's not aloof, so it jumps on Harvey. which means we just have to deal. Hi, Disciple. Oh, that's where that clue is. I was wondering. Action 2, we're going to fight it. So we currently got 5, 6. But we definitely need a little more. Let's go ahead and throw a perception at that. 7, 8. -4 succeeds. Disciple's gone, so is its doom. For our last trick, we're going to throw an Arcane Enlightenment to investigate 6 against 2. Let's make that 7 against 2 because we really, really want to succeed, right? Oh, I'm so glad I made it 7 against 2. I pick up a clue and beat a -5 because everything's great. That's all of our actions, though. We took our extra draw, so we're good there. Roland's done his gunfighting. Didn't have to play anything off Dissonant Voices, so we're good there. Enemy phase. No enemies except that one cultist over here. Upkeep. Resource and a card. Vault of Knowledge, beautiful. Resource and a card. Beat Cop. Okay, I love it. Oh my gosh. We stand a chance here. The Mythos play happens. Doom. Encounter. Disciple spawns in the first empty location and steals a clue, gosh dang it. I think we put it here because we want Roland to go shoot that guy. And then, yeah, I think that's the best way to do that. We don't want to... Oh, Roland had to test books to move out of here. Shoot. We'll discard the Magnifying Glass to that. That's going to be a 4 against 3. Oh boy, this sucks. Nope. Roland's actually still in the Arkham Woods. Okay, so Harvey drew the Disciple, which means the Disciple spawns there. It gets a Doom, and it gets a Clue. Clue comes off of Harvey, which means, you know, things are bad. It's not Agenda 1, right? Yep, nope, things are just terrible. Okay. That B-Cop is beautiful. That would be exactly what we need for this type of setup, but Roland's got, like, a lot to do before he can get there. Roland's encounter is Immortas Horror. Discard a card at random. Oh, that's how that works. Ha. Whoops. I shouldn't have pitched the Magnifying Glass. I forgot that it was... Well, that was biggest mistake of my Arkham career, I think. Let's close up this door here. I knew, I was thinking, man, Immortas Hunger is clearly not as scary as you think because you get upkeep before that happens, right? So you'll always have a card, and therefore you can't, but it's after. I just... shouldn't have discarded the Magnifying Glass to Roland's thing. But we forgot to make the book test to move out, so... yeah. Goodbye, Roland. You died for reasons that you shouldn't have, I'm afraid. So there are some problems now. One, there's 2 clues that are now, I think, on this location, because Roland Banks is deceased, so we have to go get those again. 2, Harvey Walters can't really fight a lot of enemies. Man, that puts us, like, all the way back to square one. I think we're in a lot of trouble now. There is a way that this goes for us, and I think it's a pretty good one, but, yeah, it's going to be interesting from here on out. Okay, Harvey, 1, 2. Engage this thing, and you're gonna have to fight with books, so that's gonna be 5 with an Occult Invocation for 6, and an Arcane Enlightenment for 6. 6 against 3? Oh, wait, hang on a sec. No, you don't have to, as an additional cost, discard up to. So I actually don't need to discard anything. I just fight with my books, so that's 5 books. 6, 7, 8 against 3. Is that right? Yeah, I think we really need this, so... Okay, we place 2 Doom on the nearest enemy, which is this enemy. And we get a negative... Okay, so 6, 7, 8 against 3, minus 4, put 2 Doom on it, and then kill it. Okay. Close business. Do not like. Alright, and that's 1, 2, 3 actions from Harvey, so that's all we get. Enemy phase, upkeep, resource and a card. Seleno fragments, cool. Mythos, Doom goes to 4. Encounters. Ancient Evils, Doom goes to 5. Agenda advances. A dark presence approaches and you are assaulted by invisible pressures that bring you to your knees. A terrible force threatens to invade your mind and soul. Your throat clenches and your eyes water as the sensation burns through you. In player order, each investigator must test 6 will. Each investigator who fails must search the collection for random basic madness weakness and add it to his or her hand. Harvey, how do we want to do this? Basic madness weakness could hurt, but we could also potentially be okay. This is 6 will right here. 7, 8 will against 6. 9 will against 6. We willing to go as far as 10 will against 6? Because Vault of Knowledge is pretty strong. I think 9 against 6 is... Well, I don't know. Let's see here. No, we just want them to not fail by -3, because that's the big thing. Skulls on -3, we succeed, so we don't get a madness. Good job, Harvey. Alright. That's the end of the Mythos phase. Investigation. It's all Harvey now. We just gotta do the stuff by ourselves. Alright, so we're 5... 6 to investigate. Place Seleno fragments. That's now 7 to investigate. So 7 against 3. -3 succeeds. Pick up a clue. Good action, Harvey. Well done. Action 1, action 2, action 3, move over here. Yep, that's what it is. Enemy phase. Upkeep. Resource and a card. When this agenda advances, the ritual site gets put into play if we're not in Act 1. Okay. And Umordith will get summoned if we are in trouble. Okay. So, Mythos, Doom goes to 1. Counter card. Corpse Taker spawns at the furthest empty location. Place a Doom on it at the end of the Mythos phase, which will be... Do we want it to be in the Arkham Woods? Because Harvey can kill it, right? I think that's what we have to do, yeah. Can Harvey get all the clues before the Corpse Taker arrives? Nope. So we have to deal with it. So yeah, I think we're just doing that. Put a Doom on it. The Arkham Woods are empty apart from Roland's dead body. So that's fine. And now we start Harvey's turn. I can't preposterous sketches here. We really need Vault of Knowledge and a couple of other things to get the best benefits. Corpse Taker needs to die, though. Action 1, gain a resource. Action 2, move Corpse Taker. It's only got 4 fight because it's no longer Agenda 2. Harvey's got 6 books. Cult Invocations, discarding Preposterous Sketches, which really hurts. And I think the other one we're going to discard is Unexpected Courage. That really hurts. So that's an additional +2 books on top of our 6 books. No, sorry, our 5 books, because we don't have Seleno fragments up anymore. So that's 7 against 4. Discard Vault of Knowledge instead. 9 against 4. We have a very specific goal right now. -5. There's a monster at our location, so we take a damage and a horror, is that correct? Yep. Because this thing's a monster. But we also deal 3 damage to it and discard it. Okay. That sucked. That was action 1, action 2, action 3. Cost us a ton of cards, cost us a ton of actions, cost us a ton of everything, and it cost us our cards, which that really hurts, actually. Enemy phase, we're done. Upkeep. Dr. Milan Christopher gives us books, but I think Relief Chandler is more important here. Mythos phase. Doom goes to 2. Encounter. Mordos Wrath. Testify of will. For each point you fail by, you must either choose one, choose and discard a card, or take a damage and a horror. Well, this is bad. We don't have higher education up, so we're just testing 4 against 5. If we fail this, we discard all of the cards we need to win. Harvey really needs to get like a +1 here. Yeah, I can't pitch anything. 4 against 5. That's a -3. I think that's game. So we lose by 4. Wait. Discard a card. Take a damage and a horror. Take a damage and a horror. Take a damage and a horror. Not bars. I don't like it. And then we draw a monster from the discard pile. I think we could do it from anywhere, right? Because we failed with a skull. Searching a counter deck and discard pile for a monster enemy and draw it. The obvious one is Grave Eater. Does the Yithian Observer play fewest cards in hand? No, that's definitely not something we want. Yeah, it's gotta be the Grave Eater. So, hi Grave Eater. You're on us now. That's a huge problem, actually. Like, I have to evade it, I think? I don't have anything else I can do. What are the odds of getting a 0 here? 1, 2, 3, 4 in 18, 16. So it's like a 1 in 4 to get the evade. And we just have to evade it because I can't do anything to provoke or retaliate or attack of opportunity. I could fight it, but my fight is just actually miserable. So, and I can't use barricade here, and I can't use Lita. I have to evade. Action 1 evade during the investigation phase, which we've done. Yeah, investigation phase. Oh my god, we did it. Evade. So that's exhausted on our location. Action 2 lead a Chandler. Action 3 draw a card and get another card. Witten green and okay. It's not beautiful, but it helps. We now have 2 fight against 2, which means we can fight this thing. Enemy phase. It jumps on us. Upkeep. New horrors. Magnifying glass. Okay. That's good. Encounters. Wait. Mythos phase. Doom goes to 3. I think there's only one way we're winning this now. Encounters. Immortal's Wrath again. Oh no. No, this hurts so bad. I don't have will yet. I can throw Witten green for an extra. But I think at that point it's just it's either choose or discard it or don't. So yeah, just test 4 against 5. -5. So that's a base skill value of 0. So we failed by 5. Discard Wit and Green. Discard Magnifying Glass. Discard Glimpse the Unthinkable. Damage and a Horror on Lita. Damage and a Horror on Lita. Okay. Action 1, Investigate phase. Fight Grave Eater, 2 against 2. This is what it's come to. Auto fail. Fight Grave Eater, 2 against 2. -3. Fight Grave Eater, 2 against 2. Is there anything else I can... There's nothing else I can do. Fight Grave Eater 2 against 2. I have to win this or I discard my Barricade. Oh my god, it's dead. Okay. 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 Things are bad. Things are not good. Enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep, resource and a card. Burning the Midnight Oil is great. We actually do need to investigate and get the last clue. Mythos phase, the Doom goes to 4. Everything is bad. Everything is bad. Okay. Mythos phase is done. No, encounters. Yithian Observer, fewest card in hand, pray. Okay, that's a problem. Does it have Retaliate? Nope. When it attacks you, discard a card or it deals +1 damage and has +1 horror for this attack. Okay. Maybe I should just be barricading up here. I can't really do that, though. Okay, what do we do? I actually have nothing I can do to function against this card. I'm just stuck. I have to discard a card at random every time that I do anything. If it attacks us, then it deals. Okay. I have to... Okay. The Yithian Observer is a real problem here. We only have 2 fight, and we only have 2 speed. So, at this point, like... The only thing I can do is evade and hope for the +1. Action 1, evade. Action 2, evade. Oh my god. Action 3, leave. I draw a card, and I also draw another card off of Harvey's ability, which is important. Hey, look, it's Forbidden Toe. That's a card. But the thing is that because we got that star, we live here. We don't discard Barricade, which honestly, I think discarding Barricade doesn't matter at this point, but we get away from the Yithian Observer. We can barricade ourselves away from the Yithian Observer. And we have a chance to potentially, like, be okay. Okay, so I drew a card and drew a card. Enemy phase. This thing doesn't ready until upkeep. So upkeep, ready, ready. Does it have Hunter? It doesn't. Ah, it's just gonna stay there. That's beautiful. And it Guts. Ooh, I really like that as well. And we have 5 cards in hand. That's good too. Mythos Phase. Doom goes to 5. Agenda advances. Place the current act and agenda with the Devourer. If Immortus is defeated, resolution 2. Since there are 3 acts, we're gonna put 3 resources on Immortus. And the ritual site is spawned into play as well. When we flip the act, is that... Agenda 1A. Okay, so when we flip the act, discard all enemies at the ritual site. Okay, now spawn the ritual site and spawn the set aside Mordoth. There's no more Doom. So Doom doesn't matter anymore. Mordoth is defeated, we go to Resolution 2. Hunter Massive gets +4 health per investigator. I believe Roland still counts. I think it has 14 health. At the end of each investigator's turn, ready Mordoth. If you control Lita Chandler, if it's only after her, you can throw Lita to Mordoth in order to spare your lives. I think there's no choice here. We have no possible way to defeat them. Roland is dead. So I think we just throw Lita to her doom. All for a magnifying glass. It's a rough time. Okay, so we flip this over and attach it to Mordoth. And put 3 resources on Mordoth. So Mordoth has 17 health, 8 fight, and that's basically it. 17 health and 8 fight. Or 18 health and 8 fight? 17 health and 8 fight. Yep. Boop. Okay. Encounters. This is actually a really, really important one. What's the encounter? Rotting Remains. Test 3 for each point you fail by, take a horror. We'll Guts here, because that gives us a chance to, like, succeed pretty fabulously. 6 against 3. Let's make that 7 against 3. -1 succeeds, we draw a card. And it's still our turn, so we get to draw an additional card. Cryptic Writings plays for 2 resources. Okay. Relatively tame, relatively tame. Harvey, action 1, move to the ritual site. I forgot to check the connections again. Did that end up mattering at all? Diamond is connected to the... Oh yeah, Twisting Paths is connected to the old house. Which matters for Roland in specific. Ugh. I think we did okay, though. Like, a lot of this is... Yeah, just fine. Anything else connected to the ritual site? No, we're okay. Yellow circles, green diamonds. So yeah, the old house and the Twisting Paths are connected to each other, but I don't think that ever mattered because Harvey never went to the Twisting Paths. Actually, no, we did skip 1 action there, but that's fine. Okay, well, anyways, action 1, Harvey moves to the ritual site from the main path. Action 2. That's resolution 3. Okay. So what is resolution 3? I've never done this before. In the face of this horror, you don't believe there is anything you can do to stop it. You have but one hope if you are to survive. You turn on Lita and throw her at the terrible monstrosity, watching in dread as its swirling void-like mass consumes her. She cries out in torment as the life is sucked from her body. You Mordoth, the cultists chant. Lita Chandler vanishes without a trace. For a moment you fear that the creature will now turn on you, but you hear one of the cultists say, "You Mordoth is a just god, who claims only the guilty and the dead. Go, and you shall be spared." The swirling mass vanishes, and warmth and light return to the woods. The cultists slink away, leaving you alive. Lita's last moments are forever etched upon your memory. In your campaign log, record that the investigators sacrificed Lita Chandler to Mordoth. Each investigator suffers 2 physical trauma and 2 mental trauma, as the mere sight of Mordoth has taken its toll on his her body or mind. The guilt over sacrificing Lita forever haunts your memory. Each investigator must search the collection for a random madness weakness and add it to his or her deck. Each investigator earns victory, and their actions weigh heavily on their conscience. I think we earned no victory points. I think that is the only 0 victory point game that I've ever played. Yep, no, didn't beat Umorda, didn't kill a single enemy that was elite, just barely survived and threw Lita to her death. Harvey Walters is alive. And Harvey Walters has 2 trauma and an extra madness card, which we will add to his final deck if we ever decide to bring him out again, or like... So, like... The plan was to have any investigators who succeeded in a campaign, particularly the 8-part campaigns, to retire. But the concept of keeping Harvey as like a draft pool character with a madness and like a bunch of other stuff is rather tempting. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should Harvey be added back to the pool of investigators that I can draft? Or do you think that's probably a good time to call it quits on the adventuring life? In any case, rest in peace, Roland Banks and Lita Chandler. Their souls were eaten by a dark god. Harvey Walters scrapes through a scarce victory, and by a victory we mean the world didn't end, and that will have to be good enough for another day. Our next move is to open up the Dunwich Legacy. We're going to add all of the investigators and cards from the Dunwich Legacy to our pool of available investigators, and then we will draft and try to play the Dunwich from there. This was ridiculously not as bad as it could have gone, as I am well familiar with, but we'll see. So Dunwich Legacy is not a campaign that I've actually finished. I have played the first 5, I think. So this is going to be a little bit of an adventure because we're going to be simultaneously drafting and also exploring a campaign that we've never played before. However, of course, I'll probably get multiple attempts if I lose investigators and die, since we will have a total pool of 13 available to choose from, which should make it a little bit easier. But I think, yeah, scraping by with a victory like this, scraping by with a tie like this, scraping by with a definitely worrying defeat like this is exactly what Draft and Die is all about. I'm pretty happy with this, and I think that like Mordoth being living or whatever will add that to whatever our final scoring system ends up being. But it's a pretty good campaign. I really enjoyed that. That was tense from start to finish. A single critical mistake ended up killing Roland Banks at the very end of the game, and Harvey Walters somehow managed to pull it out just by virtue of drawing the exact right tokens in very, very desperate times. I think if we'd gotten stuck against that monster, it's very likely that Lita might have had been discarded, at which point there's no possible way to defeat Mordoth. So that was a bit of an adventure, but we did get through it. We didn't have to discard our barricades and endure a slew of additional monsters while Mordoth slowly walked toward us. And while we made basically no progress and earned no victory points, and also incurred a lot of physical trauma, really that's what Arkham's all about, right? All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. This was delightful. Cheers.